I'm less nervous this time, at least so far. So, I gave the presentation about Conexus. That's my dharma, to create communities. What I've done my entire adult career is create software. I've worked mostly with nonprofits, providing them the best I could possibly ever do to help them get organized, as far as you can with nonprofits. So, Regenarama, this is what we've all been talking about here. I feel like this is the same thing everyone's wishing for. How do we connect all the various players, all these pieces, in a smart way? So, the way I think of this is the signal through the noise for change makers. Okay? Because you can make a system, you can have everybody listed in there, but if you can't get to what you need, or if it doesn't give you what you need ahead of time, you're gonna give up. You're not gonna be successful. So, we're doing this because we're sick of wasting our time. Think about this, how many calls have you been on that led nowhere? Or how much time have you spent researching solutions? And how often have service providers let you down that you thought they were gonna be the ones that would make this whole project come to life? And of course, what everyone here wants is funding, which is so elusive. We do not have the time to go at this pace. Like, we are seriously fucked. Okay? Sorry to be Debbie Downer, but we're pretty fucked. Let's get it together. So our mission is to catalyze regenerative projects by connecting them to the funding and resources they need to actualize and scale. How? So, of course, a directory, getting all the regenerative projects, the service providers, the impact investors. But the secret sauce, or the magic sauce, is you gotta cut through to the heart of what's happening. I've been involved in projects that had a beautiful facade to it. And when I cut through to the heart of it, I realized, oh shit, it's not all rosy actually. So if we had a place where you can have a Q&A, you can ask these hard questions, people can upvote it, and you can actually see, you can get down to what is the core of this offering, then we can move on, or we can support it. So the other part is, you gotta match people. Going searching through and like trying to find people in the old school, yellow pages way, who's got time for that shit? And the biggest thing is trust ratings. You need to know, where do people really stand in the community? So the biggest thing is, yes, you can go look for people, but why not list out your needs? And why not have people be able to ask you to clarify those needs so you can get matched up and not waste their time and yours having to have the same conversations over and over again on clarifying. So the QA is like essential, right? The biggest thing is investors are super busy. The more money you have, the less attention span you have. And so investors really don't want to read through your whole thesis and your theory about why I changed. They want to know numbers or binaries. You can have an explanation behind it, but they want to get down to that aspect. So that's what we're focusing on, how to make it easier for them. The other thing is the trust part. You look on LinkedIn, you see people with like hundreds of thousands of connections, but what's really their trust rating? How many people in this community would give them a high trust rating versus maybe none or a low one, right? Somebody you're like, that person, And the biggest thing is you can rate people without fear of retaliation. They can't see what you rated them. It just shows up as an aggregate. So the other part is having high quality and encouraging creators to think big. So pet projects, great, we need those, but on this platform, what we really want to do is showcase the projects that are doing at least 1 million. 1 million is really not much in today's dollars, right? So having that as a baseline, I think just helps. And getting them go through a questionnaire that makes it really clear, what is the project actually doing? The biggest thing is people don't want another app. Great, you have a mobile app, wonderful. And I need to add that to the thousands I have on my phone. So give them weekly roundups. It's not hard to customize this kind of content. You don't need to send everyone the same newsletter. People don't have the same interests. You know their interests based on what they've been going to. So the biggest thing is how can we provide the best value for their time? So if someone's going to take that 20 minutes out of their day to go read through what's happening in the ecosystem, make it really stand out. Our philosophy, the number one thing, is keep it super simple. And this is much harder than it sounds. I think it was Emerson that said, I don't have time to write you a short letter, so I wrote you a long one. Okay? Complexity is actually easier. To simplify things down requires a lot more thought through. The second part is right livelihood. We want people to be empowered to do your Dharma. Like, we're here, we have a purpose. The other thing is, even though I'm up here talking right now, so it's ironic, less talking, more action. And that's what I like about this group. It seems like people here are very action-oriented. And we want to go narrow and deep. We can't do everything on this platform. We're focusing on very specific aspects, connecting service providers and investors to regenerative projects. And then authenticity, keeping it real, because we don't have time for this shit. Thank you. And here's the thing. So many projects, they put up either a beautiful front on social media or they're not having anything. It's like there's no pulse. So make it easier for people to show their work, which can be built out as a portfolio. And then generate playbooks from this, right? If you have this kind of data on what's happening in these projects, why would you not synthesize this to help new projects who are trying to do the same thing from having to recreate all this shit? We want to scale globally, so we're going to focus on internationalization, being able to translate the data sets. I mean, one of the biggest things is think about where the money is and think about where the regenerative projects are. Two very different places. So right now, we're just focusing on MVP. I spent about a year working on this org OS platform that was geared towards nonprofits. And this is my, this could be culmination of life's work. Right now, I'm turning it around, focusing on this specific aspect of how do we do this initial part. And then here's our timeline. We want to get these, this many service providers, 12 projects, 6 impact investors, 3 ambassadors. Ambassadors are key to getting this out to people. And then phase 2, by Q3 of this next year, we want to 10x those numbers. And our strategy, just real quick, is focusing on our regenerative project hotspots, because that's where the providers really want to be. And focusing on service providers first, onboarding high quality projects, and then never compromising on providing this high value, right? So don't sell out. Don't be like, we're going to have advertisers, because that's going to compromise what it looks like to people coming in. And then what we really want to do is, everyone wants to do this. Everyone's like, yeah, we're going to do this. And how's that going to work if we all have separate platforms? What we really have to do is figure out how do we make this a cooperative effort, so the people who want to do this and have different aspects of this, how do we bring them into this and split this pie, right? Instead of pulling it apart and compromising how much we have to share, figure out how we're actually having solidarity with this pie. So, thank you.